Hello, all you beautiful people out there. It's your girl, Amy Rashawn, and today we're talking about housing rights. Today we are talking about housing rights because there are so many different disparities in this country, and there are a lot of people that do not know their rights, do not know their housing rights, as many other rights that they have with employment, healthcare, and other things. But today we're going to talk about housing. I grew up, my mom was a housing advocate in the city of Berkeley, so I grew up knowing a lot of housing laws and going to city council meetings, challenging mayors. So I have knowledge of those things. And so what happens is in our communities, a lot of people don't know their rights. So they're not able to take these tactics and not able to do these things to protect themselves. And so what I'm going to do today is go over the Fair Housing Act and some things that landlords, HOAs, and other people cannot do to you as either a minority or different things that comes with your rights. So to start off, I want everybody to know that there are different housing rights. Housing rights that pertain to just regular renters. There's housing rights that pertain to people with disabilities, development communities, as well as housing rights around harassment, discrimination, and discrimination of all types. They just list a couple of different types of discrimination. And so with all these different laws, these are actual laws on the HUD.gov. You can always go there and look up your rights as a renter and as for the landlords and HOAs and all of that. They break it all the way down. And so today we're going to go over the I don't know if you can see this, but it's the housing discrimination under the Fair Housing Act. And so this says housing discrimination is illegal in nearly all housing, including private housing, public housing, and housing that receives federal funding. That's pretty much every single house, every single apartment, every single body probably receives some type of, unless you're a private owner, private renter. But still, even if you're a private renter, private owner, you still can be breaking the law without knowing, per this Fair Housing Act. Now, we're going to go over what the Fair Housing Act and who it protects, what type of housings are covered, and what is prohibited, and additional resources. So the Fair Housing Law protect people from discrimination when you are renting or buying a home, getting a mortgage, seeking housing assistance, and engaging in any other housing related activities. Who is protected? The Fair Housing Act protects discrimination in the housing with the rights to race, color, national origin, religion, sex, family status, and disability. What type of housing are covered? The Fair Housing Act covers most housing. In very limited circumstances, the Act exempts owner-occupied buildings with no more than 4 units, single homes sold or rented by the owner without the use of an agent, and housing operated by religious organizations and private clubs that limit occupancy to members. So that is like a country club that you can stay at, an actual private owner of a house trying to rent to a private renter, which is still, that's still, it says that it's limited circumstances. So there are still, this still covers you. So I'm going to go over what is prohibited. When you're selling or renting of housing. It is illegal discrimination to take any of the following actions because of race, color, religion, sex, disability, family status, or national origin. You cannot refuse to rent a home to someone based on their race or color or disability, family status. That includes Section 8. Most of you landlords do not know, when you deny a family that is on Section 8, you're breaking the law. You cannot deny a person if you choose to rent your home, you cannot deny a person that is on Section 8 an opportunity to live in a community or your home based on that they're on Section 8 or the type of family living that they're in. You can't refuse to rent. You can't negotiate for housing, meaning if they have a set standard for someone else, for anyone, like a security deposit or monthly rent, they cannot change it based on because now you have a family of 6, you owe more rent. Otherwise making housing unavailable. So I live in a community, and this is actually owned by a HOA, but the way that they go about the landlords having to rent, the different things that they have to do, it actually pushes minorities out of this community. So you can't do that. You cannot set up different things and rules within your community to exclude others. Set different terms and conditions and privileges when renting or selling of a dwelling. You cannot put different terms and conditions on different renters or the sale of the home. It has to be straightforward. Provide a person housing services or provide a person different housing services or facility. If you are providing a service, say for instance someone is there's maintenance that goes on, not even maintenance, landscaping. If landscaping is going on, you cannot deny someone the services that you're providing, either other people or what you're providing, due to all of those things that I listed. Falsely deny the housing, saying that it's not available because of inspection or its sale or another rental. So you cannot falsely deny someone saying that, oh, I rented it already, when you didn't. I've seen a lot of people do this when they're renting their homes and they open it up, and Section 8 Section 8 participants go and apply for their home. They'll say that they rented it to another party and hadn't rented it out, just so they can deny that participant on the program. That is illegal. And if you guys have gone through these things, you guys need to step up and fight for your rights. Okay. Anyone cannot make, print, or publish notices, statements, or advertising with the respect of the rental or sale of the dwelling with preferences, limitations, or discrimination. So when you guys are renting, if you put no Section 8 participants, unless your home is not actually up to par for Section 8, you cannot disclude a party from renting your home because they're on a Section 8 program. That is discrimination of a person due to their economic status. Excuse me. I'm a little bit frustrated because I'm actually going through these things myself. Fortunately, I actually know what to do. I've contacted the mayor of the city. I've actually contacted the governor of California, and I'm going to the city council meeting, which will be, I think, on the 6th of April. We'll be there. So You guys need to know your rights so you can step up and make a difference, because if you don't speak up, they're not going to do it, and they will continue to violate your rights. They cannot impose different sale prices or rental charges for the dwelling. They cannot use qualification criteria and applications that exclude other families from renting the dwelling, such as income, application requirements, application fees, credit analysis. You cannot exclude someone for these things. You cannot evict a tenant or a guest by race or color or creed or whatever. You cannot harass a person. Okay? You can, if you fail to perform maintenances. This is a major one for a lot of minorities, a lot of people on programs, repairs that are not being made in homes. If your landlord or your responsible party is not making repairs, they're violating your rights, and you stand up and you can hold your rent. You can hold your rent until they decide to make those repairs. And then you could take their ass to court. Sorry to cuss, but you can. You can take them to court. And what you need to do, though, is document. Okay? I document everything. Everything that I go through, I document. If they want to give you a phone call, tell them no. Everything needs to be in a formal, written complaint. That's how you are able to fight for your rights. You cannot do anything with verbal. You cannot do anything with aggression. What you do is you write. Write a damn letter. Write a letter to your mayor, the city council, your governor. Keep on writing, because that nick and neck, they're gonna have to respond. They cannot ignore you. So, repairs. That was repairs. Limited privileges, services, and facility of dwellings. You cannot do that. You cannot provide limited services to a person and give other people full service. Discouraging the person of sale or rental. You cannot do that either. There is a lot of this going on. I see this more or less like in a community where there may be some biases, and people will say, oh, your house was condemned, or the people living there before you were this, or your landlord doesn't do this. And so what that does is discourages people from renting the unit and possibly excluding certain races or just people with challenges or disabilities. Assign a person a particular building, neighborhood, section, or name. They cannot do this. If you are in a building and there's mostly black people in that building and Asians in another and white people in another, they cannot segregate. Okay? Segregation is a no-no. Okay? Segregation and those Jim Crow laws with black codes in the 1970s, there is a law that I think it's 1964 civil rights. I don't know it off the top of my head, but it's go type in civil rights 1964 and it should pop up the actual law, and they cannot discriminate against you. And they cannot put you in certain dwellings to try to segregate different communities or different cultures, excuse me. Persuade or try to persuade homeowners to sell their homes by suggesting that the people of the particular protected characteristics are about to move into the neighborhood. This is called block busting. So if You have people around the neighborhood and they're going to say, some black people just moved in around here. Some more moved in around the corner. Or, some Latinos moved in next door. What else? Who else is going to come move into our neighborhood? And then they start going around. That is called blockbusting. If you know of someone who's doing that, you can actually report them and take their ass to court for Fair Housing Act. Okay. Refuse to provide or discriminate in terms of conditions of homeowners insurance because of race, color, and all the different falses. I'll just go over them: sex, disability, status, national origin of the owner or occupants of the dwelling. So you can't deny people homeowners insurance because I'm black or because I have a disability. Deny access to a membership in multiple listing services or real estate brokers. I guess a person cannot deny you access to your choices of picking different brokers or real estate agents. There's some other things that was discrimination with when renting. Are some when you're mortgage lending, which it's kind of the same thing, but they break it down per the loans, appraisals, and harassment, and refuses to purchase a loan. So there's, you can go on HUD.com to look up if you are trying to get a mortgage lending or a loan for a house. Harassment. This is a major one. The Fair Housing Act makes it illegal to harass any person because of color, race, religion, sex, disability, status, national origin, among others. This forbids sexual harassment. There is a whole nother class of sexual harassment. They have a whole nother page for sexual harassment. If you want to learn about sexual harassment laws under the Fair Housing Act, go to that page and look it up. There's other things that are illegal, which is to threaten, intimidate, interfere with anyone exercising their fair housing rights or assisting others in exercising their rights. If you are being discriminated and you speak up, they cannot retaliate against you for doing that. They cannot intimidate you for doing that. And they cannot cohort you into doing any other thing when you are taking actions against your rights. Also, retaliating against a person who has filed a fair housing complaint or assisted in a fair housing investigation is also illegal. So I'm going to say this clear. Do not let anyone mess over your rights. Go find out your rights, not just your housing rights. Go find out your employment rights. Go find out your employment, your healthcare rights, your housing rights, anything that you're doing. Find out about your rights, because I'm guaranteed in this day, during this pandemic, your rights are being violated. And you can step up and you can take action and make sure that you're protected. If you do not take action, you are not protected. So write your letters. Write your letters to your mayor, your city council, your governor. Don't be scared. I wrote the White House. I'm not playing. I am not playing. I wrote the Biden administration. I sure did. And don't care. Okay? So if you want action, you have to be the first person to take action. And don't let anyone violate your rights at all. Ever. But you got to know them. You got to know them.